No, 23.
Perfect. Okay, we're back.
Guys.
Let's go.
We're back. Yeah.
Episode 20
So,
or 23. Okay, 22.
yeah.
Perfect.
Bit more of a health-focused episode, this one. Just on, healthy ways of living, how you can maximize your testosterone for optimal performance in work, life, and even in, obviously, relationships as well, just because testosterone is very important, and it's more so one of the most important building blocks of masculinity. Like, not too many guys can be like Alex Hormozy, can get like an amazing shape, and just overall, his life is overall great because it's just work, train, obviously relationships all combined into one. But so we're talking about testosterone. So like ways you can let's just go over the ways you can boost your testosterone. So obviously it's fighting, because it's anything competitive, anything that's like a 1v1 player versus player, which is very, very important, as well as other stuff, like obviously eating like salted butter, because the way how butter is, it's very high in fat. The high in fat will then allow you to, because fat turns into testosterone, like once it breaks down, as well as obviously steak. Steak is very important, especially the more fattier cuts. Same reason as butter, as well as lamb as well, just because lamb is pretty much we like to call lamb as the not so important version of steak, just because it's pretty much the exact same thing as steak. It's just obviously for lamb. Pig and chicken aren't too bad. It's just not too many. They're not really the best overall when it comes to the micro or macronutrients, just because of the amount of creatine in the steak, as well as, especially if it's grass fed, it's very, very nutrient dense, just because of how the system breaks down all that grass. As well as even oysters. Oysters are amazing, just also because of that fat. And then if we go a bit more over the vegetable side, it's broccoli, just because it breaks down and basically gets rid of all your deestrogenizes a lot of your estrogen compounds. That's from stuff like plastic bottles, or even just like non-organic processing from all the phthalates and all the other stuff that they use to try and like make the fruit like non-organic, because all that stuff gets affected when you eat the fruit, because if it gets sprayed on the tree or if it gets sprayed on the fruit, because even if you like cut onto the skin, it's still implemented inside the actual, like let's just say orange, for example. It's actually a part of the actual orange, not just on the outside, because whatever, like even like our skin, whenever you touch something or whenever you feel something, like let's just say if I touch this table, for example, like that, there's also like, it feels plastic. There'd also be like microplastics going into my skin as well. So it's a bit more of a rundown. Obviously, it's a bit
that's annoying. It's annoying to know.
Yeah, but that's life.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many details you mentioned there. Like, it's insane. Kind of, it's all science, right? At the end, like you have to study this, what you eat, what you consume, even to what you touch, and like what can go into your body from your skin and all that. Those details are really important. That's great.
That's why a lot of the people who are like the top part of like the fitness or the health brands avoid plastics mostly whenever they can, or they just implement it enough so it doesn't actually do enough harm to them or make them infertile. Because there's actually been a few studies that show pretty much over the last few years that testosterone's been decreasing by about 1% every year, and then that's also linked to the higher amount of plastics we've been using over the last 50 odd years as well. Because let's just say if you drink a bottle of water, so let's just say like my coffee cup's here, a bottle of water. So every time you like drink it, like since the water's been in the plastic, which is normally BPA, it breaks down. The BPA breaks down, even though the water bottle still looks stable. It's like on a micro level, the micro plastic break down into the water. You drink the water, it goes into your system breaks it down even more. So then it's furthermore broken down even more. Obviously, it starts even smaller and smaller and smaller. And this is where it can get to your blood vessels. Obviously, there's been a few studies that show every single male, and including every single male dog, has plastic in their balls. Yeah,
That's
just
crazy.
from the amount of plastic we use and obviously how it affects our body, it's seen as like an estrogen compound. So our body reacts to that in reducing the amount of testosterone. And there's normally some ways of trying to figure out how we can actually solve it. One of the most important ways is just training, limiting plastics, and very much just sauna, sweat, just basically burn that pretty much.
Good. That's good to know. Obviously, getting back into the groove of things, with the New Year's and stuff, everyone's trying to get back into their either fitness goals, gyms. For me, it's going to be a lot of calisthenics or sports, like you're going to do Muay Thai, boxing, or I don't know, Taekwondo, or some kind of martial arts, and like just having some like consistent cardio, throughout the year.
It's better
For me,
than
it's
just
going to be
basically
mainly.
being on the Stairmaster and just basically been like, I'll go do this for 20 minutes. I can't stand this, and just working your way through. Even though that should be seen as like a sign of discipline, because actually the more you don't want to do it and you just do it anyway. But
Yeah, you
yeah,
still do it, but it's like you're kind of at the limit of doing and not doing. You don't want to be there. You actually want to like push yourself enough to actually desire what you do.
but also this is where I got a slightly different model to you, because I'm just like, the more I don't want to do it, the more I need to do it, because I need to conquer that part of myself, my bitch
Exactly.
part of myself that doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. You're talking to yourself. No matter how much you don't want to do it, you're gonna drag yourself into it.
Just
That's
make sure you
exactly.
don't drag yourself down and out of it, because that's what some people do, especially when it comes to cardio. Like I've noticed whenever people go to the gym, they tend to avoid the whole cardio section, just stick to the weights, just because it's seen as more fun. Whereas the cardio is also important, but don't just try and, well, you can combine it in like a HIIT training. It's just not the same as doing. It's not the same as running or even like Stairmaster, for example. That's not the one thing that you focus on. It's not like that one goal in mind, because you've also got the other goal of lifting weights, moving around, basically keeping in mind other people, your program, your timing. It's just, whereas with cardio, you just focus on that one thing.
Yeah, I realized for me personally, what pushed me through cardio was mostly like I had something like a mental battle going on. And
Yeah.
like if I would say overthinking too much or something bothered me, or I was like just angry, something happened like during my day, I would just fuel that all for my cardio. It would basically be fuel for my cardio.
So you saw it as a bit of a mental war. So how exactly did that fuel your cardio? Did you be like, this is what's pissing me off, this is what I've got to do, this is how I've got to attack it? But also take in consideration, what did you also think of how much mental bandwidth that would have taken? Or do you just be like, I just need this, I just need the motivation, I just need the motivation, I just need some motivation?
Yeah, yeah. It's like for me, it's like I was just like thinking about a few things, and then I have like my music running in the background, and then I'm just running like for 20 minutes straight. So like your mind is not really attached to the pain of running or having cramps or here and there in its like mental, phase of like, thinking about whatever. And then after the run, like after say 20 minutes, you're so physically exhausted that mentally you can't really think anymore.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of like, okay, end of my cardio session. I don't know if there's a lot of people like this, and I'm not sure, but like that's how kind of I experienced it.
So what do you mean? So did you like basically have your music on, have a mental battle, exhaust yourself enough physically and mentally, well, mentally then physically, just because you're
The
like, "Oh,
physical exhausts more of your mental, because like all the blood goes into your muscles and whatnot to keep you running
yeah,
out of your brain. So that's like where it's like where you get exhausted, and then after 20 minutes or even half an hour. Sometimes it's 1 hour. Okay, it's actually that crazy. Then I'm like, I'm done. Like, I can't think anymore, and like I can't move anymore. So I was like, okay, that's it. It's the end of my work cardio session.
Okay, so you do it to a point of like pure exhaustion.
Yeah,
So
physically
then,
and
so do you just want to? So what's the reasoning behind that? Is it just because you just want to basically have a blank mind at the end of it?
yeah, it's just to clear your mind at the end of the day. You know, like it's kind of like people like some guys like to go boxing. Like
Yeah,
they do like skip roping and then they just go for like a 30-minute like punching bag session, and then they kind of get all of their thoughts and ideas, like all that anger, that like emotion, that rage that just builds up throughout the day or whatever. They just get it out on that punching bag. It's just, I guess it's also the personality type. You know, some people are like,
yeah, because I've definitely noticed that some people have definitely got a lot more anger and resistance than what other people do, because like not too many people are like still and let's just say more so emotionless, whereas most people are very like most you don't really get to that stage unless you've had stuff happen. But I'm just saying on another note, where like let's look at like 80-90% of the world where they've got their emotions brought into everything, and it's like they also need to bring that out through the cardio.
yeah,
Thinking that'd be more so like majority of the world, just because it's like, hey, this is one way how I can solve my problem. It's not going to solve my problem if I beat someone up or even possibly like, I don't know, just yell or scream or cause a massive muck anyway. It's like just acting like an adult. It's just like, it'd be more so like adults finding it to be more, not, it'd be more so adulting more so, just because you're acting as an adult, trying to naturally find ways to get rid of it, and then you can just go from there.
yeah, exactly. That's how it is. You're learning how to manage your emotions. You're learning how to put them out like in ways that's not going to harm people around you, even yourself. You're turning not negative energy into positive energy at the end of the day.
Yeah. You pretty much are, yeah.
Exactly.
Also, what's your viewpoint on training, like, let's just say every day compared to like 3-4 times a week?
I was training every day could, for me personally, it had some negative impact because you sometimes at one point you're kind of exhausting too much, too many resources like inside of you, like, you know, physically, mentally, and then that's not something good. It's not something healthy. Like, you still want to give yourself some rest for your muscles to kind of build themselves back up again.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, also like you can't go hard every single day. That's another thing. Like you're gonna go like maybe 75% of your full potential because you're not giving yourself enough rest. So that's my take on it.
Is that even your take if you're doing like a bro split? So you do like
But
chest
it's
one
also
day?
yeah, it also depends on what kind of exercise you're doing, what you're into. If you're into CrossFit, I think every day is okay because CrossFit, you're always keeping your body active no matter what. That's like the whole point of it. But if you're
Yeah.
into like bodybuilding, I would say 3-4 days maximum, because you're gonna have to give your muscles enough rest to build, to kind of, you know, like the shear and growth, you know, the micro tears, and then, you know, when it recovers, it grows back bigger. So that's what you want. If you're into calisthenics, depending on the phase you're in, if you're like building up to certain like calisthenics, you know, movement or, you know, position or whatever, you have to give muscles some time to grow too, right? So you
Yeah.
can achieve those goals. But after one point, like if you're able to do like a lot of the calisthenics movements you want, like for example, if it's like 15-20 pull-ups a day, 5-10 muscle ups, handstand push-ups, L-sits, like a lot of different like things, then you can, you know, then you can go like every day because your body's used to it, and you kind of want
Yeah.
to maintain that strength.
Because it'd be a lot more difficult with calisthenics, wouldn't it? Because it's just, you've got, it's more so than what bodybuilding is, because bodybuilding is just basically focused on the muscle and the stabilizer. That's it. Whereas calisthenics is more so focus on like the whole body as a whole and how it
Yeah.
works like together as one, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like CrossFit basically. You're going your whole body, every little muscle, every little detail to kind of achieve like a certain movement, right? So you have to give it some rest initially, right? And
Yeah,
depending on your body, your like where you start, right? And then you you've achieved like a goal in calisthenics, you want to maintain that strength level. So you gotta go like, I would say every other day. But like even then, like I realized with my muscle ups, I can't go more than 2 or 3 days without going back to like those similar movements again. So if I'm doing like muscle up, I have to wait like 2 or 3 days before I can do like the same amount, something like that.
yeah. Okay, so it sounds like very similar to like when you first get into the gym. Honestly, it does. Like obviously, you just got to slowly build up your momentum until you get to a stage where you can go consistently, and then yeah, it just sounds like just slow momentum, slow build up, and then just keep on building it up from there.
I wanted to go over like just a final statement on health. Like it's just something that everyone kind of takes for granted, especially like when you're already healthy.
Yeah,
You always kind of take it for granted. And there's like this statement that always goes like, health is a crown that healthy people wear, but only the sick can see. Right. So it's something that you have to kind of protect and keep growing. Like it's something you can grow. Like health is definitely something you can grow, right?
yeah.
Physically, mentally.
Even when you're at your best shape.
Exactly. There's always room for improvement. And yeah. So
That's a good note to end it on, really. And just yeah, how important health is in regards to really it's that is that invisible crown, is that well more so visible crown that people see take for granted.
exactly. Wait, did I think I got it's health is an invisible crown that only the sick can see pretty much, but
Yeah,
healthy people wear.
yeah. And the healthy people don't see it because everyone else has got it.
Yeah. But even then if you were a keen observer, you'd see that there's different levels to health, right? Like if someone was very healthy and they actually put in a lot of work to reach that level in health, they'll see the differences when they
Yeah,
walk out there. They'll see, oh, this person, yeah, it's like, common people kind of health level, they're not paying too much attention to what they eat and whatnot. You can also see like someone's morphology, how, like their body looks like. You can tell, okay, like they don't take care of their posture. They're slouching all the time. That's not healthy. And it also like, you can kind of see also mentally, if depending on like human sure movement, all that stuff, how healthy they are. And yeah, I mean, there's so much, there's so much you can work on, at the end of the day. I mean, I want people for this new year to start getting more serious and more interested and excited about their health goals.
especially because it's a cornerstone of your whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
And even I was thinking about it yesterday. Like each different day you eat the donuts, you're just basically taking off points of your total health. So let's just say you've got like a point
Yeah.
of like a million health points, and then the more you eat like shit, the more it takes it away. The more you
Oh
get
yeah,
like
definitely.
negative
It's like
food, negative drinks. Yeah,
it's like you're short circuiting life pretty much at this point. Like whenever you're doing anything unhealthy, you know,
yeah, pretty much.
consuming like high dopamine content or anything like that's gonna just short circuit your brain circuits, and
Yeah,
then same with your gut and your body. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. I mean, it's a trap too, because a lot of businesses work on that. They work on keeping you in the loop too with regards to your health. It's not good. Like insurance companies,
oh,
the food industry, like so many out there to get you. So
but that's just life. It's a dog eat dog world.
yeah,
Real.
pretty.
unless you have groups of people who you get along with, or groups of people who you're fighting for the same cause for, or obviously the community who's fighting for something together. That's the only way he can get around it.
Yeah, you have to definitely be in a group to stay on it for sure. Being by yourself is pretty tough, but
Yeah.
the strongest I would say are the ones that are alone doing it. Some of the
But they
strongest
always
people.
get beat. But they always get beat by the group every time, though. The lone wolf
Yeah,
can only go so far.
like when you reach it, well, you're always gonna be you versus you no matter what. Even if you are in a group, it's always gonna be you versus you. It's just that in a group you have more perspective and you have like more eyes to tell you where to improve on. But at the end of the day, it's still you versus you, right? So